You. Hello everyone. मेरा नाम साकेत है and this is the third episode of the Design Podcast. First of all, let me say thank you for the response you have given for the second episode. It was about motorcycle designing with अरुण कुमार फ्रांसिस. बहुत सारे व्यूज़ मिले, बहुत सारे कमेंट्स आए. Also कुछ लोगों ने बोला कि जो फीडबैक उन्होंने फर्स्ट पॉडकास्ट में दिया था, they can clearly see the improvement. This is very assuring for me because it makes sure कि मैं जो efforts ले रहा हूँ वो right direction में जा रहे हैं. So these feedbacks are very important for keep them coming. This will help me a lot. Having said that, today's topic is very special. It is an aspect of industrial design which is spread across the industry, be it consumer electronics or normal product design or cars or motorcycle. Take anything. This is something which is applicable in every industry. We are talking about colors, materials and finishes. Shortly it's called CMF Design. CMF Design is something which takes care of the trend, which takes care of the experience, which is very important in today's time. It takes care about the final visual appeal, the touch and feel of the product, everything. So we are talking about something which is like the inherent part of product design. And to talk about this very crucial and important aspect, we have an expert in this field. He started his journey in London. Then he has worked with companies like Ashok Leyland, Tata Motors, Bajaj. His name is Shashwath Bolar. And he has worked across the industry in variety of projects. He'll talk about his journey, what made him decide CMF as his core niche or strength area, what made him choose London over Indian colleges. Does that make sense in today's time? All those things he'll be talking about it today with us. So without any further ado, let me welcome Shashwath Bolar. सो शाश्वत, वेलकम अगेन. आज आने के लिए, वीकेंड पे आने के लिए थैंक यू वेरी मच. मैं ऑडियंस को पहले भी बता रहा था कि यू हैव वर्कड अक्रॉस द इंडस्ट्री इन वेरियस फील्ड्स. तो लेट्स स्टार्ट फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग कि ये जो डिज़ाइन या क्रिएटिव जर्नी थी कहाँ से स्टार्ट हुई, व्हाट वर द ट्रिगर पॉइंट्स और कहाँ पे यू एंडेड अप डिसाइडिंग कि मुझे बस यही करना है या क्रिएटिव लाइफ ही परस्यू करनी है.
तो एक्चुअली व्हेन आई वाज 1.5 or 2 years old itself I started sketching. तो मुझे बहुत मज़ा आता था. मैं स्केच पेन या पेंसिल लेके स्केच करता था और मेरी मॉम प्रिजर्व करती थी सारे स्केचेस को. और मेरा बिगेस्ट इंस्पिरेशन वाज माय मॉम एज वेल एज हर गाइड. My mom is a PhD in temples of Karnataka and her guide was a double doctorate from Cambridge University.
Wow.
तो उनका घर एक म्यूजियम जैसा था.
अच्छा.
सारे स्कल्पचर्स हो गए, डिज़ाइनर फर्नीचर हो गए, एंटीक फर्नीचर,
प्रॉपर कलेक्टिबल.
हाँ. तो all this was amazing, I was so attracted to them. I would stare for hours on end. और आर्ट भी ऑर्डिनरी आर्ट नहीं था. इट वाज आर्ट फ्रॉम S.H. रज़ा, M.F. हुसैन, इम्प्रेशनिज्म फ्रॉम
M.F. हुसैन.
M.F. हुसैन एंड इम्प्रेशनिस्ट पेंटिंग्स फ्रॉम यूरोप. तो ये सब मेरा बहुत इन्फ्लुएंस किया ये चीज़ों ने.
अच्छा.
और मेरी मॉम के डिपार्टमेंट जो था कर्नाटक यूनिवर्सिटी जो धारवाड़ में है, इट्स डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ हिस्ट्री एंड आर्कियोलॉजी. तो उनके म्यूजियम में तो Buddhist sculptures थे, Jain sculptures, Hindu sculptures from all over India. And
मतलब you are always surrounded by this creative artworks and
yeah, but it was art historian. It was not necessarily art or design. ये लोग historians थे, art historians, Department of History and Archaeology. और मेरी मॉम बहुत पढ़ती थी. तो बहुत सारे inscriptions को translate करती थी. तो घर में, और मेरे डैड जो थे वो बहुत वेल रेड थे. वो बहुत फिलोसफी और मॉडर्न आर्ट के मुझे ज्ञान देते थे. तो इट वाज अ कॉम्बिनेशन. हमारे घर में डिबेट, ब्रेकफास्ट, लंच में ये सब होता था कि बुद्धा ने ये पाथ क्यों चूज किया या महावीर जी ने ये क्यों लिया. तो
बहुत ही इंटेलेक्चुअल वाइब रहा होगा.
हाँ. तो दिस वाज वेरी, एंड व्हेनेवर वी वेंट टू अ टेंपल, मेरी मॉम हम हमेशा वो पूरा बैक स्टोरी बोलती थी कि किस राजा ने बनाया, क्यों बनाया.
अच्छा.
और कैसे अलग अलग स्टाइल्स, टेंपल स्टाइल्स का मिश्रण होके ये रिजल्ट हुआ. तो ये सब पैरेलली चलता था. और दूसरा जो चीज़ था, मेरी मॉम जज हुआ करती थी कल्चरल और आर्टिस्टिक कॉम्पिटिशन्स में, जैसे फाइन आर्ट, पेंटिंग, स्कल्पचर, कार्टूनिंग, कोलाज. तो ये सब मुझे देखने को मिलते थे, मास्टर्स और अंडर ग्रेजुएट स्टूडेंट्स का काम. तो दैट वुड कॉन्स्टेंटली कीप ट्रिगरिंग कि मैं ये भी कर सकता था, वो भी कर सकता था. और हमारे स्कूल का जो एजुकेशन है आर्ट में, मुझे लगता है बहुत गलत है. क्योंकि बहुत मार्क बेस्ड होता है कि आपको A मिल रहा है, B मिल रहा है, C मिल रहा है, और जो टीचर ने पूछा है आपको रिप्रोड्यूस करना है, आपको इमेजिन नहीं करना है. ये बहुत गलत चीज़ हो रहा है इंडियन आर्ट स्कूल में.
मैं आज ही सुबह पढ़ रहा था
एक जगह पे कि इंडियन एजुकेशन सिस्टम हमें ये सिखाती है कि आपको क्या अचीव करना है रादर देन टीचिंग अस कि आपको क्या बनना है। मतलब लोग हमेशा उस ब्रैकेट में फंस जाते हैं कि मुझे एक इंजीनियर बनना है या मेडिकल ऑफिसर बनना है या ब्ला ब्ला ब्ला, बट कोई ये नहीं बताता कि आपको किन वैल्यूज़ पे फोकस करनी है या जो भी है। तो आई थिंक या दैट्स अ बिग गैप ओवर देयर।
तो बट बिकॉज आई हैड दिस एक्सपोजर, मैं कॉन्फिडेंट था, मैंने पार्ट लिया था एक्सपेरिमेंटल आर्ट प्रोजेक्ट्स में, तो आई वाज कॉन्फिडेंट। मैं पैरेलली चॉक से मैं स्कल्पचर्स बनाता था, नहीं तो सोप स्टोन से स्कल्पचर बनाता था, हाँ कार्व करके, लेदर से मैं कुछ छोटा खोला पूरी चप्पल बनाता था।
एंड दिस वाज ऑल हैपनिंग व्हेन यू वर लाइक
ऑल थ्रू सेकंड स्टैंडर्ड फोर्थ स्टैंडर्ड, ऑल थ्रू स्कूल, ऑल थ्रू कॉलेज। एंड जैसे सारे साउथ इंडियन पेरेंट्स अपने बच्चों को डॉक्टर या इंजीनियर बनाना चाहते हैं,
नॉट जस्ट साउथ इंडियन, आई थिंक ऑल द इंडियन पेरेंट्स वही है।
सो आई थॉट मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग इज द सेफेस्ट बेट,
करेक्ट,
क्योंकि दैट इज क्लोजली रिलेटेड टू द मैकेनिक्स ऑफ थिंग्स एंड क्लोजली रिलेटेड टू ऑटोमोटिव। तो इतना एक्सपोजर भी नहीं था, नॉलेज भी नहीं था, कोई बोलने वाला भी नहीं था। डिज़ाइन करके करियर हो सकता है वो नहीं पता था, आर्किटेक्चर के बारे में पता था, लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली आई डिडंट राइट दोज एग्जाम्स, बट नेवरदलेस आई एंजॉयड मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग बिकॉज इट टीचेस यू हाउ टू बिल्ड थिंग्स,
परफॉर्मेंस फंक्शनैलिटी।
लेकिन तो वो एज अ थियोरी मुझे बहुत पसंद आया, मैकेनिकल इंजीनियरिंग में मुझे बहुत मज़ा आया। बट पैरेलली मैं क्या करता, हर कल्चरल कॉम्पिटिशन में पार्टिसिपेट करता था, आर्ट, कोलाज, कार्टूनिंग, तो आई केप्ट माई क्रिएटिव जूसेस अलाइव।
दैट इज़ द बेस्ट पार्ट अबाउट इंजीनियरिंग कॉलेजेस आई गेस, कि बहुत सारी एक्टिविटीज़ चलते रहती है, कल्चरल एक्टिविटीज़ है आपकी, बहुत ज़्यादा रोबोटिक एक्टिविटीज़ है। तो हम लोग हमेशा बोलते रहते हैं कि इंजीनियरिंग इज़ अ प्लेस वेयर यू गो टू explore what you want to do in life.
You find yourself.
Yeah, you find yourself basically. तो yeah, I totally resonate with this fact कि मैं भी जब इंजीनियरिंग में था तो मैं भी बहुत सारी कल्चरल एक्टिविटीज़ में इन्वॉल्व रहता था, और शायद वही एक ट्रिगर पॉइंट रहा मेरे लिए भी कि आई डिसाइडेड कि फाइन, ये टेक्निकल पार्ट तो अच्छा लगता है बट क्रिएटिव एस्पेक्ट इज समथिंग विच आई एम वेरी पैशनेट अबाउट। तो टोटली सो तब यू डिसाइडेड कि क्रिएटिव फील्ड में जाना है।
हाँ, लेकिन वो कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं था, क्योंकि मैंने सब लकीली गूगल था उस टाइम पे, ये 2003 की बात है।
ओह वाह। तो
मैं ऐसे गूगल करते करते कार डिज़ाइन न्यूज़ गूगल करता था, बहुत कम आर्टिकल्स आते थे, लेकिन कुछ यूनिवर्सिटीज़ आते थे, कोवेंट्री यूनिवर्सिटी, RCA आर्ट सेंटर कॉलेज ऑफ डिज़ाइन पैसाडेना, और एस्लिंगन यूनिवर्सिटी करके जर्मनी में। तो मुझे पता था कि ये ऐसा कोर्स हो रहा है, लेकिन मास्टर्स के लिए दे वांटेड एन अंडरग्रेड इन डिज़ाइन, जो मेरे पास नहीं था।
अच्छा।
तो मैं थोड़ा डिसपॉइंट हो गया अभी।
ये किस कॉलेज की बात है?
इट्स ऑल मास्टर्स डिग्रीज इन मास्टर्स इन कार डिजाइन और ट्रांसपोर्टेशन डिजाइन रिक्वायर्स एन अंडरग्रेड इन डिजाइन।
ओह रियली?
और मैंने मेल किया था उनको।
ये 2003 की बात है?
2003 की बात है। तो मैंने सबको मेल किया था, उन्होंने बोला आप इंजीनियरिंग में परसू करो, इट रिक्वायर्स क्रिएटिव फ्लेयर, यू नीड टू क्रिएटिविटी, यू नीड डिजाइन अंडरग्रेड। तो मैंने फिर ऑटोमोटिव इंजीनियरिंग की तरफ अपना फोकस बढ़ाया, बट पैरेलली मैं एक इलेक्ट्रिक गो कार्ट बनाना चाहता था एज माय थर्ड ईयर प्रोजेक्ट।
अच्छा।
तो आई कॉन्टैक्टेड रेवा, जो इलेक्ट्रिक कार कंपनी था उस टाइम पे बैंगलोर में। तो मैं चेतन मैनी आए थे हमारे यूनिवर्सिटी कॉलेज में, तो उनसे जाके मिला, मैं उनसे बात किया, मेरे स्केचेस दिखाया मैंने, मेरे जो इमेच्योर स्केचेस थे, जो टिपिकल इंजीनियरिंग स्केचेस होते हैं, साइड व्यू, टॉप व्यू, प्लान व्यू, तो वो स्केचेस दिखाए, उनको इतना मज़ा नहीं आया। बट आई केप्ट ऑन सर्चिंग ऑन गूगल।
Wow.
And I eventually got into Delphi Automotive Systems, into engine management systems, EMS.
Okay.
तो वहाँ मैंने ऑटोमोटिव कंपोनेंट इंजीनियरिंग के बारे में सीखा।
कितने साल के लिए वहाँ पे जॉब किया?
ऑलमोस्ट 1 साल, स्लाइटली अबाउट 1 ईयर की कैंपस रिक्रूटमेंट से हुआ था ये। तो बट तब जाके मुझे कॉन्फिडेंस मिला कि मुझे ये नहीं करना है, मुझे ऑटोमोटिव डिज़ाइन ही करना है, नहीं तो क्रिएटिव।
मतलब तब तक पता चल गया था कि ऑटोमोटिव डिज़ाइन करके कुछ होता है?
हाँ, तो तब तक काफ़ी इंटरनेट पे भी आर्टिकल्स आने लग गए थे, और यूनिवर्सिटीज़ के बारे में मुझे पता चल गया था। सो आफ्टर अ फ्यू एक्सचेंजेस विद कोवेंट्री यूनिवर्सिटी, मुझे पता चला कि अगर मेरे पास कुछ एक्सपीरियंस है, डिज़ाइन एक्सपीरियंस और पोर्टफोलियो है, मैं अप्लाई कर सकता हूँ।
कर सकते हैं।
सो तब तक महिंद्रा का डिज़ाइन कॉम्पिटिशन था, एक डिज़ाइनर स्कॉर्पियो कॉम्पिटिशन ऑटो कार में।
अच्छा।
तो वहाँ मैंने पार्टिसिपेट किया, एक स्केच वेच बनाया, एक फ्यूचरिस्टिक स्कॉर्पियो बनाना था, तो मैंने एक पिकअप वर्जन बनाया था उसका, और यूनिक ग्राफिक्स में मैंने उसका मॉडल किया था मैंने, 3D प्रिंटिंग करके, पेंटिंग करके, पूरा प्रोसेस
प्रॉपर इंजीनियरिंग अप्रोच लेके फिर फाइनली थोड़ा सा मॉडल भी बनाया था।
यस, मॉडल बना के मैंने भेजा था, स्केल मॉडल। तो मेरा टॉप 10 में सिलेक्ट हुआ था।
ओह वाह।
तो चलियन नटराजन, जो मेरे एक्स कलीग है, वो भी उस टॉप 10 में था।
ओह रियली? अच्छा।
सो इट वाज, आई फेल्ट हैप्पी दैट ठीक है, अभी कुछ ट्रेनिंग नहीं है, विदाउट ट्रेनिंग आई एम एबल टू रीच हियर, सो विद ट्रेनिंग आई कैन गो फर्दर। तो ये बिलीव था, जब मैं अभी भी मेरे पुराने स्केचेस को देखता हूँ मुझे बहुत हंसी आती है। But it was just pure blind belief and passion, you know, which followed. But all this helped me to get an internship in Tata Elxsi. So after 1 year, I left my job. So it was two ways: either I continue in engineering or get into design. So there were sacrifices to be made. So I started with a zero salary at Tata Elxsi.
मतलब वो internship की तरह रहा होगा?
Internship की तरह था for 9 months.
That was a big leap.
It was a big leap from and all my friends and colleagues were going up the ladder and I was going down. But it was with a very strong conviction. And I was super lucky to have gone to Tata Elxsi in 2005-06 ये time था, and I was super I tell this with great gratitude that बहुत सारे mentors मिले NID के, IIT बॉम्बे के, जिन्होंने मुझे कोच किया, स्केचिंग सिखाया, फोटोशॉप सिखाया, एलियास सिखाया, and only because of that I could have a portfolio and get an admission in Coventry University.
Okay.
So it was a real turning point. It was extremely hard, that journey.
Wow.
But very gratifying, very gratifying.
मुझे बिल्कुल नहीं पता था ये सब, ये तो बहुत ज़्यादा मतलब स्ट्रगल्ड एंट्री रही है इनटू द डिज़ाइन। वाओ, दिस इज़ वेरी मोटिवेटिंग कि कितना कन्विक्शन रहा होगा कि ये सब छोड़ के, पूरी एस्टेब्लिश्ड एक करियर लाइफ है, वो सब छोड़ के यू टुक अ कॉल, यू टुक अ बिग लीप, एंड तो ऑल दैट हैपेंड, यू मेड द पोर्टफोलियो और फिर बाद में कोवेंट्री यूनिवर्सिटी में चले गए। तो हाउ डिड उस वक्त भी शायद NID या IIT में डिज़ाइन रहा होगा। सो व्हाट वाज द रीज़न दैट यू चोज कोवेंट्री ओवर इंडियन कॉलेजेस?
सो बचपन से ये था कि मास्टर्स बाहर जाके करना था, कोई साइकोलॉजिकल ये
रहता है दैट इज देयर, स्पेशली इंजीनियरिंग बैकग्राउंड से हो तो फिर वो और ज़्यादा स्ट्रांग हो जाता है बिलीव कि हाँ मास्टर्स करना है तो फिर MS करो।
तो और दूसरा क्या था, मैं बहुत ज़्यादा फोकस था कार डिज़ाइन में, तो उस टाइम पे NID का कोर्स स्टार्ट भी नहीं हुआ था।
अच्छा,
ये तब की बात है, 2005-06 की बात है।
अच्छा,
तो शायद NID का कोर्स 2006 में चालू हुआ था। अगर मुझे पता होता तो शायद मैं वहाँ ट्राई करता, मुझे पता भी नहीं था।
एंड 6 में चालू हुआ था।
तो मैंने भी 2006 में स्टार्ट किया, बट मेरा एप्लीकेशन 2005 से था।
अच्छा।
और IDC में जो बॉम्बे में, IT बॉम्बे में जो कोर्स है, दैट इज एन इंडस्ट्रियल डिजाइन कोर्स व्हिच इज अ वाइडर, उधर भी ट्रांसपोर्टेशन डिजाइन नहीं था। और तब तक मेरे कुछ मेंटर्स थे, संगमित्र दत्ता, उसने जो मुझे मेंटर किया था वो कोवेंट्री यूनिवर्सिटी से थी। सो आई वाज मोर कॉन्फिडेंट कि मे बी आई लाइक कार डिजाइन मोर,
कुछ एक बैकग्राउंड
काफी मैं फोकस था। तो लकीली आई वाज सुपर लकी दैट आई गॉट देयर।
लक इज जस्ट वन फैक्टर, बट आई थिंक द थिंग्स अभी जस्ट जो सब भी बोला, तो उस फेज में आई एम प्रीटी श्योर कि जो आपका एक्सपीरियंस रहा होगा या जो भी पोर्टफोलियो बना होगा, that had enough depth कि वो आराम से हो गया होगा, because you said no, you did that car design with Reva, then you went into Tata Elxsi, you took that leap with conviction, फिर Tata Elxsi में भी you worked on your sketching and then made portfolio। तो I'm pretty sure कि जब तक Coventry में गए होगे आप, so you had like a very in-depth detailed portfolio, so I'm pretty sure कि वो सब help किया होगा।
So तो जब मैं Coventry land किया तो वहाँ 19 स्टूडेंट्स थे 10 कंट्री से।
अच्छा।
और सिर्फ 3 इंजीनियर्स थे मुझे मिला के, और जितने भी बाकी लोग थे 16 लोग थे, सबके अंडरग्रेड इन डिज़ाइन थे, प्लस कुछ लोगों ने डैम्बलर में इंटर्नशिप किया था, कुछ लोगों ने जैगुआर में इंटर्नशिप किया था। तो उनका लेवल बहुत हाई था,
बहुत हेवी प्रेशर बन गया,
बहुत ज़्यादा प्रेशर था। और इट वाज अ ग्रेट एक्सपीरियंस बिकॉज वी हैड 19 स्टूडेंट्स फ्रॉम 10 कंट्रीज, साउथ कोरिया, ताइवान, चाइना, जापान, कनाडा, जर्मनी, UK।
वो एक क्रॉस कल्चरल एजुकेशन हो गया।
It was an amazing exposure. It was the first time I was going abroad. I was 23 or 24.
Oh really?
Yeah.
अच्छा।
तो UK में मेरा first time था, और and to see all through childhood you've seen cars, Lamborghinis and Porsches and Ferraris on on magazines, and you're seeing it for real.
Oh wow.
And that itself was a blessing for me.
Correct.
And 2 years of Coventry was just fantastic for me, and we had teachers from Jaguar coming and teaching sketching for us. Wow. Wayne Burgess, who's now the design head of Ola Electric, and Giles Taylor, who was at one time the chief designer of Rolls-Royce. So these guys were at Jaguar.
मतलब लेजेंड से ही,
तो उनसे हम लोग सीखते थे स्केचिंग। and great amount of exposure Coventry, because a lot of automotive designers globally are from Coventry. तो काफ़ी लेगेसी रह चुका है। तो हर जगह से डिजाइनर्स आते थे, एलुमनाई आते थे महीने में एक बार। तो
ये एक है एक्चुअली, बिकॉज इंडिया इज़ वेरी न्यू इन दिस डिज़ाइन फील्ड, तो वेन एवर यू गो आउट, तो जिस लेवल का एक्सपोजर आपको मिल जाता है, जिस लेवल के एक्सपीरियंस्ड लोगों से आप इंटरेक्ट कर पाते हो, आई थिंक दैट इज़ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। वो इंडिया में इजीली नहीं हो पाता है, तो आई एम प्रीटी श्योर कि वो एक बहुत ही ज़्यादा अच्छा लर्निंग एक्सपीरियंस रहा होगा।
See, one is automotive design itself. The other thing is the design culture as such. तो वो यूके ऑफ कोर्स डेवलप्ड कंट्री है, तो नंबर ऑफ म्यूजियम्स इन लंदन,
राइट,
यू नो V&A जो विक्टर एंड अल्बर्ट म्यूजियम है, और नेचुरल हिस्ट्री म्यूजियम है, आर्ट और डिज़ाइन के सेपरेट म्यूजियम्स है. तो द काइंड ऑफ एक्सपोजर एंड लर्निंग यू कैन गेट, दैट इज व्हाट वन शुड डू व्हेन दे आर अब्रॉड और यू नो एनी न्यू प्लेस. Explore the place. And I got a chance to visit Geneva Motor Show, so you understand the automotive design domain in a much wider scale.
Correct.
And that is the beauty of being abroad and listening to people. We would get to meet people like Patrick Lecomo जो Renault के design head थे. One-on-one मिलने का chance होता था उस time पे.
Wow.
And हमने Fiat लांचिया डिज़ाइन कंपटीशन, वो ग्लोबल कंपटीशन था. तो फ्रैंक स्टीफनसन जो वहाँ के डिज़ाइन हेड थे Fiat ग्रुप का, तो उनके साथ काफ़ी टाइम मिला हमको स्पेंड करने में. So he would tell us ki why is he judging the designs in certain way. His whole journey at Mini Cooper, at Ferrari, at Fiat, you know, all this is such valuable experience.
Wow. मतलब मैं अभी अगर एक ब्रॉडर पर्सपेक्टिव से सोचूं तो इंडिया और अगर यूरोप में आपको एजुकेशन करने के लिए मिल रहा है, तो यूरोप होल्ड्स दिस बिग बेनिफिट ऑफ गेटिंग कनेक्टेड विद ऑल दीज लेजेंड्स इन द इंडस्ट्री जो ऑलरेडी रूल कर रहे हैं या रूल कर चुके हैं.
Exactly.
उनके साथ वन इंटरेक्शन होना भी बहुत बड़ी बात है. सो आई थिंक दैट इज़ डेफिनेटली अ वेरी बिग बेनिफिट. तो टेल मी समथिंग दैट दिस वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट 2005-6 and all, right? 2006.
Yeah.
But अभी over the span of time, आज इंडिया में बहुत सारे डिज़ाइन कॉलेजेस हो गए, बहुत सारा डिज़ाइन अवेयरनेस भी क्रिएट हो रहा है, अच्छे फैकल्टीज़ भी है, कई सारे जो इंटरनेशनल फैकल्टीज़ है वो इंडिया में आके पढ़ा रहे हैं. तो डू यू थिंक इन टुडेज टाइम डज दैट मेक सेंस टू गो टू यूरोप एंड स्टडी, और you would say नहीं, इंडिया में भी आप एजुकेशन ले सकते हो? What is your opinion now?
The answer is not straightforward.
Okay.
It depends on how much money do you have.
Okay, let's say money is not a factor. If we keep money aside, which one will you choose?
I would still
choose going to Coventry.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, but at the same time, I teach as a visiting faculty in NID. I think even to get to study in NID or IIT Bombay or IIT Delhi is amazingly. It's an amazing opportunity because in India you know these top institutes hold such great value that even the kind of exposure you get there and the kind of opportunities you get through these places is amazing. तो आजकल plus the world has opened up so much.
Correct.
इंटरनेट में आपको इतना इन्फॉर्मेशन है, ग्लोबल कॉम्पिटिशंस इतने एक्सेसिबल बन चुके हैं,
सोशल मीडिया से भी you can connect with people directly.
So the world is a much bigger place, much more open, much more open compared to what it was when I was there. But see you can't do an apple to apple comparison. But अगर आपको exposure चाहिए, बाहर जाना एक बहुत बड़ा पॉजिटिव है. बट एट द सेम टाइम मैंने ये भी देखा है कि स्पेशली NID में बहुत सारे एक्सचेंज प्रोग्राम्स होते हैं. तो जिन्होंने यहाँ पढ़ा है और वो जाके एक सेकेंड डिग्री बाहर स्वीडन में या जर्मनी में या इटली में करते हैं, तो वो भी एक बहुत पॉजिटिव है क्योंकि आपको एक NID का डिग्री मिल रहा है प्लस आपको बाहर का भी डिग्री मिल रहा है, व्हिच आई सी इज अ वेरी बिग पॉजिटिव. So
correct. These days, not just NID, I think every college and also students on their personal level, they can also approach universities because I remember some of my juniors, उनको college के through exchange program नहीं मिला था, but उन्होंने अलग से पर्सनली अप्रोच किया था कुछ यूनिवर्सिटीज़ को विच वेर इन ऑस्ट्रेलिया एंड ऑल, तो उनको वहाँ पे एक्सचेंज मिल गया था.
दैट इज आई वुड से दैट इज आल्सो बिकॉज ऑफ द मेरिट ऑफ द NID एंड द IIT ब्रांड. यू नो मे बी इफ यू कम फ्रॉम अनदर इंस्टीट्यूट आपको शायद वो वेटेज नहीं रहेगा,
वेटेज नहीं मिलेगा.
यू नो बाहर NID और IIT को जो वेटेज दिया जाता है वो शायद बाकी यूनिवर्सिटीज बोस्ट नहीं कर सकते. तो इट इज लाइक द गोल्ड स्टैंडर्ड. यू नो अगर इंडिया में स्टडी करना, आपको मेहनत करके इसके अंदर जाना, ये NID और IITs, इट रियली हेल्प्स. But at the same time अभी UI UX के जो fields खुले हैं that you know brings in a whole new dimension. Then it's about how good you are.
For sure, yes. Last 2-3 years, no, things have changed so much in design with this work from home scenario. People talking more about experience than anything else. तो ये सारी चीज़ें actually पूरे ये काफ़ी अच्छा एक ट्रांजिशन हो रहा है वुड से. तो पता नहीं मतलब क्या होगा, बट इट्स अ रियली नाइस ट्रांजिशन.
बट नो मैटर वेयर यू गो, आई थिंक सम की थिंग्स आर योर हार्ड वर्क कैन नॉट बी कॉम्प्रोमाइज्ड.
फॉर श्योर
योर इनिशिएटिव टेकिंग एबिलिटीज कैन नॉट बी कॉम्प्रोमाइज्ड. नो मैटर वेयर यू गो, यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू बी spoon fed. You need to take the initiative, you need to learn from your peers. The biggest opportunity क्या होता है? peer learning. कोई भी अच्छी जगह पे जाओ आप peer से ज़्यादा सीख सकते हो than the tutors.
Correct.
And the better the university you go, the better the quality of peers.
Correct.
So it is the same story for every top design school. You know, you get to meet great peers coming from different parts of the world.
Correct. I think अगर आप एक डिज़ाइन इंस्टीट्यूट में जा रहे हो, यहाँ का मतलब एजुकेशन कल्चर ही ऐसा है कि इट्स वेरी इंटरडिसिप्लिनरी एजुकेशन सिस्टम। तो इसमें आप जितना कोलैबोरेट करोगे, जितना आप बाकी पीयर्स के साथ काम करोगे, आई थिंक वो जो लर्निंग होगी वो किसी भी ट्यूटर के साथ नहीं आ पाएगी। तो इवन आई कीप रिकमेंडिंग ऑल माई स्टूडेंट्स की आपको कोलैबोरेट करना चाहिए जितना हो सकता है। कंपटीशन अपनी जगह पे है, इट्स अ हेल्दी कंपटीशन, वो होना चाहिए, बट आप कोलैबोरेट करते रहो तो आपका लर्निंग बहुत ज़्यादा हो जाएगा। ओके, नाउ कमिंग टू द सेकंड टॉपिक कि व्हेन यू आर इन कॉवेंट्री, सो हाउ डिड योर प्रोफेशनल जर्नी स्टार्ट?
सो फर्स्ट जब हम कॉवेंट्री में थे, फिएट का डिज़ाइन कंपटीशन था, तो इट वाज अ ग्लोबल कंपटीशन एंड यू कुड चूज टू डिज़ाइन द नेक्स्ट अल्फा रोमियो, लांचिया और
वाओ, लाइक यू हैड फ्रीडम,
या यू हैड टू चूज वन।
अच्छा,
तो पैकेज, बेसिक पैकेज उन्होंने दिया हुआ था।
अच्छा,
तो हमको वो बेसिकली हैचबैक डिज़ाइन करना था, ग्लोबल कंपटीशन था, इट वाज अ टीम। So we then had to present to the Fiat Group Italy. They would come every month for reviews.
अच्छा,
And then final presentation Frank Stephenson को था। So that was a great experience, and
Wow.
the level of presentations I have seen abroad, especially in Europe, it's totally at a different level, because everything what you say is timed. If you're given 20 minutes, you speak only for 20 minutes, and उसके बाद 5 या 10 मिनट का Q&A होता है, and you're prepared very well for that period of time.
wow.
So the level of presentation is super high, and बहुत strictly follow करते हैं लोग जो rules दिया जाता है। तो that was a great experience.
फॉर श्योर, एक्चुअली जब हम लोग भी एनआईटी में थे, दिस इज़ लाइक 2011-12, तो तब भी हमारे जो फाइनल प्रेजेंटेशन के आउटपुट रहते थे, इट यूज टू बी स्केचेस मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम, बट तब हम लोग कॉवेंट्री या सीसीएस इन कॉलेजेस के जब फाइनल डिस्प्ले या कॉन्वोकेशन के जो भी फाइनल डिस्प्लेस देखते थे, तो दे यूज टू हैव लाइक दिस प्रॉपर very professional looking scale models, fully painted, everything neatly done, big posters with having a proper design story, everything बहुत ही ज़्यादा professional setup होता है। I would say अभी भी if you compare Indian colleges का display and वहाँ पे जो हो रहा है, तो उनका डिस्प्ले थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा ही प्रोफेशनल लगता है। मे बी दे हैव अ बेटर सेटअप और इन हाउस सेटअप, आई डोंट नो।
I think the competition is way higher.
अच्छा,
It is just because people are coming from different countries, and they have, especially people coming from China and South Korea, they're extremely hardworking, extremely hardworking.
Really?
So basically my whole Coventry journey was, Friday nights you don't sleep, Saturday nights you don't sleep,
Wow.
Sunday nights you don't sleep, and because Monday morning was the design review.
अच्छा,
So at the most you get 2 or 3 hours of sleep, and
Wow.
everyone would put in that, and the Chinese and Koreans would literally double the amount of work. So the level of hard work and commitment is really next level, and उनके पास वो काफ़ी equipped होते थे, right from day one उनके पास DSLR होता था, scanner, color printer, marker set, Cintiq, सब कुछ. And we go as at least if I have to talk about myself, I wasn't that prepared.
नहीं ये
So-
होता ही है एक्चुअली। मतलब वहाँ पे जस्ट इमेजिन नो, इफ़ यू आर स्टेइंग इन अ कंट्री लाइक इटली और लंडन फॉर दैट मैटर, फ्रॉम योर चाइल्डहुड ओनली यू आर टॉकिंग लाइक यू विल सी पीपल टॉकिंग अबाउट डिज़ाइन, आर्किटेक्चर, फिर बहुत ज़्यादा एग्जॉटिक कार से लेके उनकी वैल्यूज़, वो सब आपके मतलब आपके ऊपर बम्बार्ड हो रही है। यू आर अवेयर अबाउट व्हाट हैपन्स एग्जैक्टली। और यहाँ पे इंडिया में तो मतलब फॉर मी, आई थिंक आफ्टर कंप्लीटिंग माई इंजीनियरिंग आई गॉट टू नो कि डिज़ाइन जैसा कुछ होता है, तो वी आर लिटिल लेट टू द पार्टी।
Yeah.
तो उसकी वजह से तो थोड़ा सा
So
हो
basically
गए।
जो hygiene बोलते हैं, aesthetical hygiene, that level is way high
Way high.
out there,
Correct,
all these
correct.
countries.
हाँ।
But तो क्या हुआ था? You were asking about my professional journey.
Yes,
So
yes.
after I finished my Coventry, there were few months before I could graduate. तो मैंने उस टाइम पे क्या किया, 3-4 डिज़ाइन कॉम्पिटिशन्स में पार्टिसिपेट किया था।
अच्छा,
तो so that kept me motivated, because it was very dark times. The global financial crisis was.
This is 2007-8?
2007-8, exactly.
Wow.
It was the worst time to graduate, and just to keep myself motivated, I had participated in Interior Motors, Dura Design Awards. There's another Italian design award, and I was shortlisted in all, and I also won a 3rd prize in one of the Italian design competitions.
अच्छा,
So
nice.
because of that, I got to travel to Paris because of Interior Motors Design Awards. So I was shortlisted for exterior design,
Nice.
and then I also went to Italy. That was also a sponsored trip. Took care of my stay, travel, and the best part was I won the 3rd prize and I got 2,000 euros tax free.
Wow.
Which was amazing,
2,000 euros tax free.
And tax free, which
And
is
that too
really
in
good.
that time when
Yeah.
recession was happening,
Yeah,
you didn't have job. Wow.
Yeah. And this was very difficult times, because उस टाइम पे क्या होता था, अगर आप पोर्टफोलियो किसी को मेल करते थे तो कोई चेक नहीं करता था। 2007 की बात है। और 2007-8 की बात है, और उस टाइम पे ये अनरिटन रूल था कि आप फिजिकल पोर्टफोलियोज बनाओ प्रिंट करके, फिजिकल लेटर्स भेजो लोगों को,
कुरियर भी करते थे।
कुरियर, हाँ, तो मैंने बहुत पैसे खर्च करके 45-50 एप्लीकेशन भेजा था, सबको भेजा था ग्लोबली, टोयोटा, जैगुआर लैंड रोवर, सबको भेजा था, BMW से लेके सबको, और जितने भी छोटे मोटे डिज़ाइन कंसल्टेंसीज थे तो वहाँ भी भेजा था। तो 2 जगह पे मेरा शॉर्टलिस्ट हुआ था, एक था स्वीडन में, गॉटेनबर्ग में एक डिज़ाइन कंसल्टेंसी है, it was called Epsilon Design, I think.
Okay.
And the other one was design stores in Salzburg in Austria.
Okay.
तो I had to make a decision कहाँ जाना है। तो of course I didn't know much about both places, so I just googled and Salzburg looked fantastic. And plus the other thing was my designs, my senior, Coventry senior, MA senior, he was Jan Didek, he was already working in design stores, कोई तो पहचान का था, तो I thought let me go to Austria, and plus Austria क्योंकि मुझे बेसिक जर्मन आता था,
अच्छा,
तो मैंने सोचा कि मैं मैनेज कर पाऊंगा कुछ, क्योंकि स्वीडन में तो लोग स्वीडिश बात करते, तो सो आई थॉट आई टेक अ चांस. So Design Stores is a company which started in 1983 and they support most of the European car studios.
Okay.
Like for example, they designed the Porsche GT3. They designed the BMW first Z-Force interiors. Wow. And they do alloy wheels and a lot of design detail. They usually work in the background, तो आपको इतना पता नहीं चलता है उनके बारे में. So that was a great experience. This was in Salzburg. It's about 170 kilometers from Salzburg. A place called Zell am See. Zell am See. Okay. So that's where the Alps ends. So you have 14 Alps mountains.
Wow. Must be beautiful.
It's like heaven. So the Porsche is the second Porsche studio is in Zell am See, where they design Adidas shoes and other accessories. Right. Wow. So I lived just behind that, and I could see the Alps mountains every day from my bedroom window, and for me living every single day was such a pleasure looking at the Alps. And just we were talking about design as a hygiene. The level of design इतना high है क्योंकि वो काफ़ी wealthy nation है. यूरोप में शायद वो 4th most richest country है, ऑस्ट्रिया, वो बहुत ज़्यादा अमीर country है. तो पब्लिक ट्रांसपोर्ट उनका 1903 में स्टार्ट हुआ. बस एज अ पब्लिक सर्विस 1903 में स्टार्ट हुआ. आप इमेजिन करो
इंडिया में क्या था.
So basically Porsche family also lives in Zell am See. So it's a city filled with a lot of very wealthy people, and it's also a nice ski destination. So for me, living in a place like that was a great sense of inspiration. And the owner himself was a designer from RCA, Akim Stores.
Okay.
He had worked on the Audi Quattro, if you remember, from the 1980s. So he had worked on the Audi Quattro. He had worked as a racing engineer in Porsche.
Wow.
So he was a great source of inspiration, and they were very talented designers. And it was a multidisciplinary studio. Architecture था, product design, Colgate के brushes वहाँ design होते थे, Porsche के लिए काम होता था. So they had a milling facility, clay facility. So I had worked on Ford, some projects of Ford Cologne. So I designed the instrument cluster for Ford Fiesta.
Okay, Shashwath. So अब हम बात करते हैं कि आज के पॉडकास्ट के टॉपिक के बारे में, CMF डिज़ाइन. सो टेल अस मोर अबाउट CMF डिज़ाइन. व्हाट इज़ इट, व्हाट इज़ द स्कोप ऑफ दिस फील्ड इन इंडस्ट्रियल डिज़ाइन इंडस्ट्रीज, और इसकी क्या क्या अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ और क्या क्या स्कोप हो सकते हैं, एवरीथिंग.
So basically, that's a great question. So basically, CMF is nothing but color, material, finish design, which is called a CMF. But there are many other acronyms. For example, automotive car industry में उसको CNG या CNT बोलते हैं, which is nothing but color and graphics or color and trim.
Color and trim.
Motorcycle industry में it's usually known as CTG, color, trim and graphics, because graphics बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, graphics का काम. So these are more or less the same thing. CMF design, CNG, CNT, CTG. तो ये सब more or less same terms हैं. And CMF as a profession काफ़ी famous हुआ है क्योंकि consumer electronics में लोगों ने realize किया, manufacturers ने realize किया है कि उसको sales पे बहुत फ़र्क पड़ता है. It can influence your sales big time. Now if you can think about the Sony Walkman of the 1990s or 80s, आपके माइंड में क्या होगा, एक ब्लैक कलर का बॉक्स याद में आएगा, सोनी लिखा रहेगा उसमें.
करेक्ट.
ठीक है, आज के डेट पे आप कोई भी ब्लूटूथ स्पीकर के साथ आप कंपेयर करो, आप इमेजिन कर सकते हो सिर्फ ब्लैक में होगा? नहीं, इम्पॉसिबल. यू कैन फाइंड प्लेथोरा ऑफ कलर्स, पैटर्न्स, डिजाइंस, एंड लोगों को वो पसंद है. ठीक है. सो CMF, the term CMF is kind of very well known in the consumer electronic space. So they are the ones who have made it so popular. So that's why mostly people now call themselves as CMF designers.
Okay.
So and basically CMF is nothing but a sub part of industrial design, and most industrial designers to some extent are decent CMF designers. But at the same time, because you can't literally do an undergraduate degree in CMF, or a master's degree.
There are no courses.
So no exact undergraduate and master courses. तो बहुत inclusive है CMF community. तो वो typically लोग textile design से आते हैं, fashion design, graphic design, industrial design.
Correct.
But I would say there are a certain kind of people who are very experimental in nature. Though they like to do iterations, they like to do experiments, and are people who can learn from multiple fields. So typically we study 10-15 different fields like fashion design, architecture, shoe design, graphic design, user UI UX. So global trends क्या चल रहे हैं, social क्या trends चल रहे हैं. So you study everything, and you also study benchmarking. आपके इंडस्ट्री में क्या क्या बाकी प्रोडक्ट्स है, वो कैसे परफॉर्म कर रहे हैं, लोगों का ट्रेंड क्या होता है, सेल्स ट्रेंड्स क्या होता है. सो यू स्टडी एवरीथिंग एंड यू मेक ऑप्शंस एंड देन यू पिच इट टू योर मार्केटिंग टीम, टू योर योर टॉप मैनेजमेंट ऑफ योर कंपनी, एंड देन यू टेक व्हाट आई कॉल एज एन इन्फॉर्म्ड इंट्यूशन. इंट्यूशन एक है, आपका गट फील है कि ये प्रोडक्ट सर्वाइव होगा या ये प्रोडक्ट अच्छा करेगा, बट इट इज नॉट इनफ फॉर अ कंपनी टू पुट सो मच मनी जस्ट ऑन योर गट, राइट?
Correct,
So you need to be informed by trends, you need to be informed by benchmarks, you need to be informed about sales, things like that. So it is for someone who really enjoys straddling across different industries, knowledge from different industries.
Also मतलब मुझे लगता है कि CMF कलर्स, मटेरियल्स एंड फिनिशेस, दीज आर द थिंग्स जो डायरेक्ट टच पॉइंट्स है एक यूज़र के लिए. सो जैसे विजुअल अपील भी अगर की बात करें तो कलर्स इज समथिंग जो सबसे पहले अटेंशन लेती है. टेक्सचर इज समथिंग जिससे आपका टच हो गया या आपकी फंक्शनैलिटी होगी, ग्रिप हो गया फॉर दैट मैटर, तो वो डिसाइड करता है. फिनिशेस जो है वो उसका ओवरऑल अगेन फीलिंग, द टेंजिबल फील जो भी है, तो वो सब वहाँ फिनिशेस से होता है. तो आई थिंक CMF एक ऐसी चीज़ है कि जो प्रोडक्ट को कंज्यूमर से कनेक्ट कर पाती है. द एक्सपीरियंस विच वी टॉक अबाउट, वो बहुत ज़्यादा CMF कंट्रोल करता है, आई थिंक.
राइट. So basically, whenever a manufacturer designs a product, like say for example a car, it's something like say 1,000 crores to a 1,500 crore project. The idea is you need to sell a sizable number of vehicles to get even break even.
Correct.
But what CMF helps is, it helps in giving you different look and finish for the products. And it helps in refreshing the product every year.
Correct, yeah.
And this is what makes the product attractive to users.
जो वो अट्रैक्टिव अपील है, वो फ्रेशनेस है, वो उसको थोड़ा सा और एक्सटेंड कर सकता है.
Exactly, and it helps you earning more money, for the company, and that's the objective of any business. So it is in a way like a strategy. You're playing a role of a business strategy or a design strategist within the company. So you understand the nuances of what marketing is doing, you understand where the business is headed, you understand where the new markets are. तो आप उसके हिसाब से आप अपना प्रोडक्ट को डिज़ाइन कर सकते हैं. इट्स ऑल्सो अबाउट अंडरस्टैंडिंग कल्चरल नुआंसेस. लाइक फॉर आप सिर्फ इंडिया को देखते हैं, साउथ इंडिया में अलग ट्रेंड चल रहा है, नॉर्थ ईस्ट में अलग ट्रेंड चल रहा है. इट्स ऑल्सो द वेदर्स आर डिफरेंट, द ट्रेंड इज डिफरेंट. लाइक होल ऑफ ईस्टर्न यूरोप, whole of Eastern India loves orangish red, for example, right?
Correct.
So that kind of orangish red might be a bit too much in South India, and so you have these cultural nuances. Like for example, if Kerala, you see most of the cars in white. White or black, and so
also I think South India में येलो कलर बहुत ज़्यादा पॉपुलर होता है, एंड देन नॉर्थ इंडिया में इट्स नॉट दैट पॉपुलर. तो हर जगह का डेमोग्राफिक, वेदर, सब कुछ, इवन द एम्बियंस आई गेस. जैसे केरला में इट्स ऑल ग्रीन, तो उस एम्बियंस में शायद वाइट या रेड बहुत ज़्यादा अपीलिंग लगता होगा, तो दे prefer those colors.
Cultural nuances, image होता है. Like for example, traditionally if you see a lot of people in Kerala, they wear white mundu and white shirt and white sarees, and that is seen as a
white
clean
बहुत
and
auspicious
pure,
color है, right?
So that is directly translated to a vehicle. तो आप पंजाब जाओगे, वहाँ के cultural nuances अलग रहेंगे. तो it is about understanding these nuances different times in the year.
I think CMF design का ये बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग पार्ट है, दैट यू हैव टू गेट इन द शूज़ ऑफ द कस्टमर. मतलब जैसे फॉर एग्जाम्पल केरला में शायद बिकॉज ऑफ दिस मुंड एंड देयर कल्चरल बैकग्राउंड वाइट कलर बहुत ज़्यादा ऑस्पिशियस है या प्रेफरेबल है. तो ऐसे ही हर जगह का मतलब यू एंड अप गेटिंग अवेयरनेस अबाउट डिफरेंट लाइफ स्टाइल्स, उनका कल्चरल बैकग्राउंड. तो CMF का ये पार्ट मुझे बहुत एक्साइटिंग लगता है कि आप कस्टमर को उस कल्चरल बैकग्राउंड से स्टडी करते हो, एंड देन यू ट्राई टू ब्रिंग इन दोज कल्चरल एस्पेक्ट्स इनटू द डिज़ाइन फील्ड, और फिर उसके अराउंड एक स्ट्रैटेजी बना के देन यू प्रपोज इट टू द बिजनेस हेड्स. तो ये बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग प्रोसेस है, आई वुड से.
सो इट इज़ ऑल्सो you are sitting on top of the supply chain pyramid, because you are then giving direction to the paint supplier, the resin supplier, the plastic
Correct.
supplier, a lot of engineers. At the same time, you're dealing with a lot of cost. There's a lot of cost pressure because everyone wants to get things done in a as cheap way as possible.
Correct.
तो ये काफ़ी सारे roles play करते CMF designer, so which makes it very interesting. तो basically मेरा जो mechanical engineering background रहा है, that has been very helpful in understanding processes, because हम इतने सारे process engineer से मिलते हैं, इतने सारे factory visits करते हैं, हमको easily पता चल जाता है कि एक process engineer से कुछ करवाना है तो क्या क्या लगता है. I'm able to speak to that person in his language. And when I speak to marketing, it's a different language.
Correct.
Then when I'm speaking to my team, it is again about inspiring them from with creative words. So it is like wearing multiple hats, and I find it very exciting.
तो आई थिंक जिनको पूरे इकोसिस्टम से डील करना अच्छा लगता है, सबका अवेयरनेस लेके देन फाइनली एक स्ट्रैटेजी पे काम करना अच्छा लगता है, एंड देन फाइनली अपने क्रिएटिव जूसेस फ्लो करके एक आउटपुट क्रिएट करना अच्छा लगता है, तो आई थिंक CMF design is for
that kind of people. I think it's a personality trait.
Personality trait,
and,
I think so.
Who like to tell storytelling.
Correct.
So I look at my work as storytelling, creative storytelling.
Correct.
Because you need to talk about multiple things. You need to be talking about costing. You need to talk about how future customers would perceive your product. How it appeals to the current brand you're working for. So it's talking about a lot of layers and selling this whole story to your top management. And end of the day, all these are assumptions. And end of the day, the real proof of the pudding is when the product sells really well.
Correct, yeah.
Right? So
that's like a feedback, immediate feedback.
Yeah.
Awesome. So just to add on to it, I have been working with Shashwath for some time now, and Shashwath's storytelling skills are really good. His understanding about the culture and the lifestyle of people, as he was saying, that it's a personality trait which makes you a good CMF designer. I think that personality is very different and very interesting when it comes to Shashwath. So Shashwath, now that we talked about CMF and its scope in the industry, tell us more about that pivotal moment in your career when you decided that this is going to be my niche, this is going to be my forte, and I'm going to excel in this. Because as you were saying, when you were in Coventry, you were working on the full-fledged cars and complete product. So when
design.
that exterior design, so when did that happen?
The thing is, actually this is a long answer, because
sure.
my tendency to colors and patterns started very early on in life. When I was in first standard, when I was 6 or 7, तब से मैंने मेरे मॉम के सारे साड़ीज मैं चूज करता था.
अच्छा.
So all my sister's clothes and my mother's sarees I would select.
Okay.
And my mother was not allowed to buy any sarees on her own. And all the curtains, the furnishing in the house, and all clothes for myself. So right from first hand. Right, I told my parents, they bought me something which I didn't like. I gave them an ultimatum when I was 6 or 7. Till then, rest of your lives, you're not going to buy any clothes for me.
Wow. So I understood 3 things: that you were always into touch and feel of the every product which your family is using. You were very clear about what you want. And the third thing is you already had that leadership quality, that where you kind of dictated what is going to happen in my family.
Yeah. So luckily my parents gave me
that freedom.
They gave me that freedom, and whenever I had to buy something, they would give me the money.
Awesome.
And I told them, you don't have to bother joining me. I would go alone to the shop at a very young age and buy clothes for myself. तो वो intuitively बहुत strong था मेरे अंदर.
Awesome.
But because I had studied car design, I was focusing on exterior design. But intuitively, I would do the graphics, the colors, the posters. That came intuitively. And even when I joined Ashok Leyland, I was very lucky because I had a very cool boss, Satya Seelan, who was the design head of Ashok Leyland, and our big boss was Dr. Sumantran, who was the vice chairman of Hinduja Automotive. So they were, and plus Dheeraj Hinduja, all these people were very, very supportive. And I think I was in my mid-20s, 26, 27, and they would give me the complete freedom to work on product, ad campaigns, exhibition space design, brochure design. So that gave me so much confidence that, when you have a creative thought and you can have this holistic approach. And I think my days in Leyland were amazing because I could, go and present to Nissan Design Studio in Japan with whatever ideas I had. And so I got to work with Ashok Leyland Style, which was the van based on Evalia.
Correct, I remember.
Evalia. Yeah. And also the Ashok Leyland Dost. So the Dost was a commercial vehicle, but I got in a lot of passenger vehicle kind of qualities and sophistication into an commercial vehicle. Otherwise, the Tatas and Mahindras that time, they're just giving you black interiors, you know, either a grey dashboard
Yeah.
and a black seat. And
Correct.
I got in sophistication. I got grey, I got, you know, beige, I got browns, and you know, so these kind of things give me a lot of confidence. And also उस time पे अशोक लेलैंड से मैं काफ़ी सप्लायर विजिट्स करता था, जापान में, स्विट्ज़रलैंड में, इंडिया में. तो आई ट्रैवल्ड एक्सटेंसिवली टू रेक्सिन सप्लायर्स, पेंट सप्लायर्स इन गुजरात, राजस्थान, NCR, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, and
Wow.
that gave me a lot of confidence, because see, at one side you're an engineer, on the other side you've got design education, and then you get to see the process. So I
Correct.
think that gives you a lot of confidence. I
Awesome.
think to be a good CMF designer, it's about understanding process, visiting factories, ability to talk and convince them that okay, this is the look I want. So I think that
Actually, I remember this Ashok Leyland Dost particularly because Shashwath had taken my course in NID. This was in I think 2012, right? 2012. So almost 9 years back now. And what a coincidence that I'm getting to work with you. My mentor is here. So yeah, that time Shashwath had shown those sketches and also what has gone into it. So very interesting story, very interesting product also. And I remember that time, I'm pretty sure Tata and Mahindra would have got that hint of competition straight away from Ashok Leyland. So very interesting. Now let's talk more about your professional work. When, like as you were saying, in Dost, you worked on the product also, and then you worked on the sophistication part of it to create a distinction from the competition. Then what happened in Tata? Like, were there any pivotal or mentionable projects?
So basically, just want to go back to Leyland. So what I did in Leyland is we were showing typically 5 or 6 buses, trucks, the vans, all these things. So I had a color strategy for the entire set of vehicles.
Okay.
And got it approved from top management.
Oh,
And,
really?
like for example, we made it pearl white. We made
Okay.
all the vehicles pearl white, because typically what happens, this is back in 2010. 2010-12, you know, commercial vehicles were usually dark color, no one paid much
White,
attention.
black, yeah, I
So
remember.
I thought, why not keep a very clean image of, you know, we'll create a clean image of Ashok Leyland, and we made all the vehicles white, and we would just have certain graphics on it which tells a different story for each product,
Okay.
and even the brochures were in that holistic style. So when I came to Tata, I tried to do the same thing, and I got an opportunity to work on all the commercial vehicles, the shows of 2014 Auto Expo, 2016 Auto Expo. There's so many vehicles, literally the whole gamut of Tata commercial vehicles, right?
Awesome.
So, and there, Dr. Jindal, who was the commercial vehicle engineering head, he was quite encouraging. He felt that, you know, it should represent Indian colors. And if you look at rural India, you know, we are a 70% agrarian nation. There's a lot of vibrant colors in rural India, and we are not
Sure.
capturing that
Sure,
in commercial
sure,
vehicles,
yeah.
right? तो उनसे वो feedback मिला, and then instead of just following European mood boards or having global trends, I then took inspiration from Indian color palette.
Wow.
You know, we used to do photography. We used to go with marketing teams, do photography of streets and shops and what's happening in India. I took that as an inspiration. Brought in a lot of vibrant colors, which then influenced a lot of Tata's commercial vehicles, the trucks, Tata Ace, Zip, and many Tata
Nice,
products.
nice. I remember seeing your electric bus concept in Auto Expo
2016, yeah.
16, right?
So that is one of my, it will go down as one of my biggest favorite projects, because
It was stunning.
It was amazing opportunity. The advanced engineering team had come to the styling studio, and they said that we have some money, we have some budget, we have a platform. Would you like to do some styling? And that's it, And I did some sketch. A colleague of mine also did the sketch, and we sent it to marketing, and marketing shortlisted my sketch, and they said, they gave a green signal, and that's it. And the beauty in Tata Motors was the opportunity for leadership is so amazing that once you become Spock, which is a single point of contact, you become one man responsible for
Entire
the
project.
entire project.
Wow,
And
that is amazing.
It was a dream come true for me. So right from exterior design, interior design, color rendering, project management, I could do that. So, and plus I had other designers also helping me with Snehal Pawar and Ramandeep Singh, were helping on the driver space and interior space. And it was a magical project. And again, I would like to talk about this thing called intention. In Sanskrit, the word is called sankalpa. And when you start a project, when you start any project in India, there is a certain puja, or there is a certain intention. It's loosely can be translated as sankalpa. So that is what good intention you have for the project. Design thinking talks about empathy, but I feel some intention is much deeper than that. And when we started this project, our intention of the team was to bring in a new vision for Indian transportation. An Indian bus should be so beautiful. The experience should be so beautiful. It should be way above than anything you've ever seen when it comes to buses. That was the intention with which we started.
That notorious image of public transportation should be gone.
Yeah. So it should be a dream. And that I thought should be the image, and that's how with that intention we started. We worked extremely hard on it, around the clock, and it was a very complex project. The chassis came from Lucknow, structure was built in Dharwad. It was put together in Tata Motors and Dilip Chabria Design, DC Design. And you had fabrics coming from Paris, paints coming from Germany.
Wow!
And
it proper was global project.
Yeah, it was a total global project. And the interesting thing was, उस टाइम पे ये इलेक्ट्रिक बस कंसेप्ट, और सब लोग ग्रीन कलर प्रपोज करते थे.
अच्छा.
ग्रीन लीफ, ग्रीन इलेक्ट्रिक बस. आई वाज बोर्ड ऑफ इट.
Correct.
So I gave the option to the management, saying that it's an opportunity for us to tell a new color story, and I gave the highlight color as orange, because orange was safety orange, as we call it, or a neon orange was a very trending color at that time. I thought enough of all the green. Let's tell a new story. Let's grab some eyeballs in the Auto Expo. That was the pitch, and the interiors was very clean. It was like a Zen space, like how Pratap Bose called it, and had great support from Tata top management, Pratap Bose, Pankaj Junja, all these people, Jayant, all these people supported me big time on it.
2016 Auto Expo, I remember Tata stall was epic. The kind of display it was there. I remember Pratap Bose talking about all his products, all the concepts, and also this electric bus. I remember the impact vision, I think impact theory or something like that. Impact 2.0 or something. Impact design. Yeah, that philosophy he had explained, and it was clearly visible in every display over there. So kudos to the Tata team, I guess. So awesome. So it would be fair to say that the Ashok Leyland and then Tata, you were working on the overall product, but at the same time your focus somehow got deviated towards color and graphics, color and materials and finishes.
Because I felt it's a holistic story is
For
such
sure.
that every aspect of the design beats from the same heart. That is the whole philosophy of what a holistic design is, right?
Awesome.
So this project was one highlight. Another interesting project was when I got to work in Tata Motors UK.
Okay.
So I got to work on the E-Vision Sedan.
Oh, okay.
That was Tata was planning to pitch electric vehicle sedan as a concept.
Okay.
And we were seeking approval.
This is in which year?
This is 2015.
15. Okay.
Yeah. So I was there for a couple of months, 3 or 4 months in the
Awesome.
UK studio. So I got to work with Matthew Swan and Orlean Dossey. Orlean Dossey is now the UK design head for Tata Motors, and it was absolutely amazing because we got to work with a multicultural. We got to work with a lot of designers from Australia, UK, America, France. So it was a very eclectic design team, were very, very passionate about design, and I had pitched multiple ideas, and the whole idea here, if you look at it, Saket, this was very different from the electric bus. This was before the electric bus.
Okay.
But my pitch here was completely different because this is like the electric future for India, right? And I didn't want to follow what Audi, Mercedes-Benz or BMW is doing. मुझे ये लगा था कि मुझे एक इंडियन स्टोरी बोलना है. So I was proposing that of alternate luxury. So I had proposed multiple themes, but the theme which got selected was that of, the theme's name was Vibrant Boutique.
Okay,
and
Vibrant Boutique.
Vibrant Boutique, because I felt India is such a colorful place, and we have a great history and legacy of handicrafts, of fabric design, and a national bird, the peacock.
Peacock, yeah,
is
it's
such
very
a great
colorful.
inspiration, and it's like probably the most decorated bird.
For
and
sure.
The mood board had things like this, and Cyrus Mistry rightly picked the Vibrant Boutique theme. And to cut a long story short, this car was launched in Geneva Motor Show 2018.
Wow.
And even after I left Tata Motors, they decided to take this color. They later named it as Peacock Teal.
Oh,
which
okay.
is teal is nothing but dark shade of blue and green.
Correct.
Right, and again, to cut a long story short, today the peacock teal is the brand color of Tata EVs. If you see
Oh,
most
the
of the
same
Nexons,
color.
the Tigor,
Yes,
and whenever I see that on the road, मुझे बहुत सही लगता है, बहुत अच्छा लगता है कि somewhere I have influenced.
तो story वो वहाँ से start हुई थी.
The intention to
awesome.
show Tata, and at the same time, it was like because Tatas have been pioneers in various fields. I felt that Tata should take a pioneering approach rather than stick to your dark grays or light grays, play safe, and just have a green as a highlight. I think this requires a much better storytelling, and
I think
it was amazing.
I think Indian automobile design industry in whole, I think now they have started to take charge as such. As in, there was a time I feel when we were just following the Western trend, whatever was happening there. But now, last 7-8 years, I think Indians don't want to follow Western culture. They want to establish their own
True.
identity in every aspect, and that is a wonderful thing, I think, for the industry as a whole. Now let's talk more about Shashwath as a person. Okay, now that I know you personally, मुझे पता है कि you have been involved with lot of personal projects, जिसमें से एक सबसे exciting projects मुझे जो लगा था that was modifying your Yamaha RX 135, जिसको आपने convert किया to a very
Cafe
nice
racer.
beautiful looking cafe racer. For that you modified the tank, you decided the color and finish of every component. I remember the kind of efforts you took for that bike, and I think it took more than a year or something.
Yeah, it's close to 2 years, and thanks to Corona, और वो extend हो गया.
So 2 साल तक एक concept को लेके एक custom bike बनाना, how was that experience, where that inspiration came from? Tell us everything.
So the thing is, the Yamaha RX 100 was the first bike I learned to ride when I was in 5th standard, and all through my engineering years I had the bike. So it was back there somewhere in the mind that someday I would like to do a cafe racer based on the RX itself.
Wow.
Like it's basically like a homage product. You pay tribute to the RX Yamaha. It's such a cult bike from
Such a cult bike.
80s, 90s, the 2000s.
It has ruled
It
Indian
has,
roads actually.
rolled Indian hearts, the youth of those years.
Yes.
Even now when a Yamaha RX 100 or a 135 goes,
That noise.
yeah, the
it's-
noise, the shape, the size, the
Everything,
design
yes.
is so dear and near to people's hearts. So I thought, after all these years of design, after all mechanical engineering, automotive design, I thought I would do it as per what I wanted. And the guiding principle for that was that of neo retro, which is basically a very modern, a very contemporary interpretation of a retro machine, but which is technically advanced, which has got LED lamps, it's got 3D printed parts, it's got laser cut parts, and stripped out all the unnecessary parts in the bike. So it was a great project. Doing a sketch is the easiest part.
Correct,
But
yes.
when you have to really build it, I had to learn to become a mechanic. I dedicated one bedroom in the house just for the bike, because that's the only way you can do it. जब तक आपके पास space नहीं है, clarity नहीं है, आप कोई
Yes.
project में आगे नहीं जा सकते. Plus
Sure.
हम हमारा normal day to day 9 to 5 job से तो time
time निकालना is
so
also-
it's a dedication, and also one needs to be committed, one needs to be disciplined with their time. So, and also the love and passion for seeing your project through. It is like seeing through your baby.
Yeah,
So it gave me a lot of happiness, and
Awesome.
and I feel very relieved. I feel very light now since I've done this project, because बहुत पहले से करने का plan था, but until and unless I didn't give it a space and time, I couldn't have achieved, because sometimes dreams can just remain dreams.
That bike, it also got featured on Bike
XF.
and I'll put the link down below, so you can check that article. Brilliant photography, brilliant kind of complimentary words which was written for this bike, so you can go and check it out. Great work. And along with this, I also remember your fun activity, your hidden talent, I would say. You have this page called as Instagram page called as Bolartoons. So Shashwath is a brilliant illustrationist, cartoonist, I would say.
Cartoonist / illustrator.
Illustrator, yeah. So brilliant work. He does very good caricatures, illustrations. So tell us more about it, and also if you can talk about your fun projects. That also would be interesting to know.
So when I was in first standard, I was quite inspired by Ajit Ninan and R.K. Lakshman's work, And I thought that if I can become a cartoonist, then I don't have to read rest of my life. But my father said, no, cartoonists have to read a lot. But I was really inspired. But then I've been sketching from much younger age itself. So when I was at Tata, I started this page. I used to just draw caricatures and illustrations without any thought. I just start sketching and then create meaning, create a character out of thin air.
Okay.
And because I thought that was kind of relieving, because as designers we love to sketch.
It's active meditation, no?
Yeah.
Some sort of.
But sometimes what happens is it becomes too constrained, because you have your constraints from engineering, cost constraints. You're tied up too much sometimes. Your wings are clipped. But here I was totally
free.
I was just listening to what the hand is doing. तो ऐसे मैंने start किया, तो काफ़ी सारे मेरे friends ने बोला, can you do some work for me for their brand. So one of the first brands which came up then was T-Box. T-Box was a startup then in 2016. I had done some illustrations for them, and now T-Box is the largest online tea selling company.
Wow.
And which sells in 100 plus countries, and some of their T-boxes have my illustrations.
Wow.
So it feels so good. It feels.
This is also very
nice.
interesting insight that don't shy away from putting your work out there on social media, because you never know who will look at it and what project or what collaboration will lead to what. You never know. So I think social media has become a very very potential tool
right.
for now today.
And also you can get feedback from social media by comments. Sometimes
it's a very interactive platform.
And people call you. Maybe they don't comment, but they call you, and then there is a learning. Sometimes you don't have answers yourself. Somebody may give you feedback. So the idea as an artist is to constantly grow, constantly take feedback, and keep evolving. And that's been the approach.
Okay.
And,
So Shashwath, coming to the last part. So Shashwath is one of the most energetic and committed person or colleague I have ever seen. So I have never seen him tired. He is always motivated to do things, to do design, everything. So Shashwath, tell us what keeps you updated, and also I know that there is a philosophy which you follow because of which keeps you going. So tell us more about that.
So one of the main things is I'm a very curious person, and just like most artists or designers or creative people, they're very, very curious. They want to know everything about the world around them. So I derive inspiration from multiple fields, as I told you. Typically in CMF, you need to know a vast variety of fields.
For sure.
So that is what keeps me really excited. And I feel very happy that the products we design, we pour our love, heart and passion into it. So there's so many people out there using it, and that gives me great satisfaction. And also I would like to tell you one incident from my Coventry days. Back in 2006 when I joined Coventry, most designers, most students in my class came from a design background, and no matter how much effort I put, I was hitting a dead block. I was not able to move ahead. I was not getting the kind of grades I wanted, which kind of disappointed me a lot. And I had asked myself that I've given up the best I could. I've sacrificed on so many things, and still I'm not able to crack it. What is what is stopping me? And then it just reflected upon me that 100 years back, Gandhi and Bal Gangadhar Tilak were there in UK studying Barrett law. And I thought their lives were not about themselves. It was about dedicating their life to a bigger cause, dedicating their lives for the greater good and for millions of people. It was not selfish, but my objective was very selfish. I wanted to make money. I wanted to become famous. It was all about me. It was so selfish, right? And I decided that I'm going to break free. I'm going to live my life where I dedicate myself to improving lives of millions and millions of people. And the moment I told that to myself, it was like floodgates opening up. I could sense a gush of energy, and all through these years, I've been, I start my work with that kind of intention. My daily prayers are, to improve lives of millions and millions of people through great design, and that is the intention with which I start my work for every project. And so I feel energetic all the time, because I'm not doing it for a selfish cause. It is for the greater good. And in Indian philosophies, whenever they designed the great temples, whenever they did great large projects, it was not about self-glory or about selfish means, but it was for a higher purpose. And in Sanskrit they use a word called sankalpa, which can be loosely translated as intention, but I feel sankalpa is much greater. You dedicate yourself to a higher cause, and the moment you do that, you're selfless. There's no ego, and great ideas come. The energy is there. It's like a river. We are for a very limited time on this planet, and if you can flow through, if you're just a medium through which energy flows,
wow,
I think one can achieve a lot of things, and it is not for oneself, it is for the greater good. And I use that kind of intention to my work, and yeah.
Okay, so Shashwath, that's very enlightening. Even I am thinking, if I start doing things like that, starting with the intention, or I develop that clarity about what intention I am working with, I think that will create a huge impact in my work life. So I said this is going to be the last question, but I have one more question, because we are talking about CMF, and many students are going to watch this. So if there are students aspiring CMF designers, so what will be your word of advice for them? And because we know that there is no discipline which is targeted purely onto CMF design, so what are the courses they can apply for?
I think most importantly, one should start doing CMF portfolios. I'm sure there are tons of examples on Behance, and I can share my own portfolio link which is on Behance. You'll get an idea of what a CMF portfolio is, and you can, whichever product or company you're applying, be it a car company or a two-wheeler company or a consumer electronic company, you can make a CMF project proposal for that company, and you can tell, okay, let's say example, you take a Bluetooth speaker. How can you apply trends? How can you apply your learnings from your trends for that product, and show a plethora of examples? And that is what companies want to see, how fresh your design thinking is, how well you can convert trends into CMF proposals, right? So that is one thing you should definitely do. And because you don't have undergraduate courses in CMF, it's probably easy to then get into CMF internship. Now the company, various companies are opening up to this idea of having CMF interns.
Oh.
It is very important you do your internship in as many companies as possible. Even if it is 2 or 3 months internship, it will help. So once you get these internships, it helps you to get a full-time job as a CMF designer. And of course, if you've already studied undergraduate in design, there are master's courses in UK. Where you can study, material design,
okay.
New futures. We'll list the name of courses also, but this is for a very advanced level CMF programs.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah. And there's a lot of resources on YouTube, on Google, on Behance. So keep learning from that, and build up your portfolio. Be creative, explore different fields, learn from multiple fields, and put your portfolio together.
Yeah, I think the takeaway, or to conclude, now in this podcast, the students have got the understanding of CMF design. You have learned this word. Now once you start searching for it, I think you'll get a lot of information on every platform. So go and study, and I hope this kind of a very informative session has helped you a lot in some way or other. So having said that, let's conclude this session. Shashwath, thanks again for coming here, taking out time for us.
My pleasure. So subscribe and share.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.